I like to try to film on Mondays. I did not have an opportunity this week. I was actually really tired, super tired. The end of the school year is exhausting, you all. Hello, my name is Michelle, and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio Podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 11th, and this is episode number 52. It is sunny, and well, actually it's cloudy right now. It's been sunny all day, but it's in the 80s, which is really nice, or mid 70s anyway. It's really nice to finally get some warm sunshine, which is fantastic as we're heading into the, not quite the middle of June, but we're getting close. Let's see, today I don't have any administrative things to announce, so we're gonna kind of jump in. I have some finished objects, different kind of finished objects. I have updates on my projects, and I have something new, a new toy that I'm very excited to talk about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in on what's on my blocking board. Well, my blocking board, strictly speaking, isn't a blocking board, although they did need to be blocked. So I have not one, but two finished skeins of yarn that I worked on this week. Handspun yarn. Oh, it's so nice to have handspun again. So the first one is this skein here. Hopefully getting picked up. This is the fiber that I had started 2 years ago. I had a couple of bats. It is by the Wheel and the Anvil is the dyer of the fiber. And it is a blend. I don't know how well you can see all the different tick marks, but it is a blend of all kinds of things. It looks like it's wool, bamboo, silk, Angelina, Firestar, alpaca, and yak. Lots and lots of things. So I think last week I had spun up the second single, so I did ply them on my new Electric Eel, which I'll talk about later. But I got them plied up and I blocked it over the weekend. I have about 265 yards. I'm calling it a heavy fingering. I don't think it's quite a sport, but it's I don't know, it's hard to tell. But I think it's like a heavy fingering, but it came out pretty good. I think it's just probably a little bit dense. It's a little thick and thin in spots. It's not, well, not like super even, you can see. But that's okay. That is now done. It feels good to have it done. One of the things that I did is on each of the bats, she had hung this little charm. Oh, come on, turn around. In a way where everyone can see. There we go. Of like a little spinning wheel. And so I put it on a lever back and made it into a progress keeper. So there were two. I had one on each of the two bats. So I did the other one and I gave it to my mom. So I thought this was super fun that I can add to my knitting projects, especially if I'm working with my hands. It'll be perfect for that. So the second skein is one that I had started spinning. I spun this right away. This is one of my new acquisitions from Fiber Frolic, and it is the Mrs. Hartman's Farmhouse Market. See how awesome that came out. Oh, it's still a little damp because I actually just washed it last night. There we go. I am so excited because this is the first project I did top to bottom with my new Electric Eel, and it came out so even and so consistent, and I'm so excited. So I did a 3-ply. I split my fiber down in 3 sections. My intention was to spin them all the same, but I think that one of them I spun from one end and the other two I spun from the other. So that's okay. I've got a little bit of a Barbara Poli contrast going on, but I like it. Again, it's a 3-ply, so it's also, I think, a fingering to sport-ish weight, but I ended up with 320 yards of yarn, which the other one I only had 265 yards, and they're both 4 ounces of fiber. This is a Rambouillet. It is really pretty bouncy, pretty fluffy. So I think, I don't know what I want to do with it, but it's going to be pretty awesome. And I might nip a little cowl or a little scarflet something or other. I don't know, we'll see. But my very first project that I spun on my new wheel. I have 3 projects that I actually knit and crocheted on. I did a lot of spinning. That really was the primary thing that I worked on. I am having so much fun spinning again, and I'm very excited, especially as I'm getting ready to head into summer and I'm gonna have lots more time. Super, super cool. So, but let me show you what I've got. Let's start with my Northeasterly blanket. I'm getting there as far as getting caught up. I just received my June colors yesterday or the day before. I don't remember exactly. So they were late arriving anyway. So I guess then technically I'm not as behind as maybe I might think I am. So let's see. Last time I had done 2 of my May colors. So then I did this one here and this one. I got a cream with some yellows or golds in it. This one is a cream base, but it's got greens, and then another orange. So I am ready to join in. I think I have 5 colors left in. There we go. So, we're coming. This is my next one here, and then, yeah, 5 colors. School's about to get out, and again, my June colors just arrived. So I am not worried. I am doing it as I can, and I am having a great time with it. So again, the yarn is from Wool & Woman Fibers. It is the Murder She Knit mystery blanket box. So every month I get I think it's a 10-gram little mini skein of yarn. It's a DK? Sport or a DK? I can't remember now. Weight yarn. And there are 12 colors in there, and do a blanket. So this year's blanket is based on, I could have done anything, but I am following along the pattern that it was designed for. And it is the Northeasterly blanket, which is by Katy Stevens. It is a DK weight yarn. Got it in my notes right there. Okay, I waited for my clock to finish dinging because it gets a little bit loud. So that's where the cut was. All right, let's talk next about my Knit It Down sweater. This is by Anna Trapp. It is a pattern that was originally in the Creative Knitting magazine, and I had knit this pattern many years ago and decided to re-knit it. I got a lot done. So when I wasn't spinning, I was working on this because this is definitely my primary project that I worked on. And yeah, I was way up here. So I finished most of the rest of the body. I was really hoping I could have the ribbing done in time for the podcast. Got about an inch to go, so maybe 8 to 10-ish rows. I'll probably take it with me to Bible study. Actually, it'd be a great project to do tonight during that. But yeah, I am so thrilled. And then I got the sleeves. Hopefully the sleeves will go fairly quickly. This is coming along. I just have a yarn update. So this is where I'm at in the second skein. I haven't decided. I will probably join my new skein in for the sleeves because I don't think this will be enough for one sleeve. I don't know. What I could do is it's definitely not enough for 2 sleeves. So I could join the skein, the third skein in for the first sleeve, weigh it, see how much I use, and then weigh what's left over and see if I can get sleeve 2 out of this one. That's the thing to do. Because I don't want to have lots of leftovers if I can avoid it. I'd like them to be in one big chunk. But this yarn is by Wonderland Yarns. It is her Mary Ann Mary Ann base, which is a superwash nylon 8515. And again, After the Storm is the colorway name. So we shall see how much I get done in the next week. Maybe Today's Wednesday. I like to try to film on Mondays. I did not have an opportunity this week. I was actually really tired, super tired. The end of the school year is exhausting, you all. So I'd like to think that maybe I can have one of the sleeves done by next week, but what would really be great is if I can have this done before I leave for New York City at the end of the month when I go visit my daughter, and I can bring something entirely different. So that's probably something I will push for. All right, my last project is my Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. I actually made a fair amount of progress on this one as well. So last time, when I don't even have a progress keeper in this one, but I am pretty confident. So it's gonna look like a whole lot of nothing, but believe it or not, it's a fair amount of knitting. So what I did, you have these pieces here, which is the shoulders. And I believe that when I podcasted last week, I had like, I don't know, maybe an inch or so done on one of these. So I had to do two of them. There's the second one. And then I picked up stitches. Let's not lose the stitches, speaking of which. I picked up stitches along the edge of one, cast on a bunch for the neck, and then picked up stitches along the edge of the second one, and then you work back and forth in short rows to create the neck. And now I am at the point where I am working back and forth for 4.5 inches. Actually, this might be an even better one to take to Bible study because it's literally just knitting and purling back and forth across for 4.5 inches. I would love to have this done in a perfect world before I go to New York so I could actually wear it, because it's going to be a short sleeve little tee. And I bought the yarn when I was in New York 2 years ago, but that might be a little bit aggressive. So here is the yarn. The yarn is by Yarn Over New York. It's her Times Square sock and Manhattan henge. It was an exclusive color for Knitty City that I bought 2 skeins of when I was visiting my daughter 2 years ago. So I don't know, it's possible. Again, school gets out next week. I've got 8 days before I leave that I won't be working. So it's possible if I sit and just charge through this. That really would be pretty cool if I could have this finished as well before I left. And maybe I can cast on something entirely new just to bring with me. Ooh, that could be fun. Well, we'll see anyway where I land. On my yarn shelf today is all about my new Electric Eel Spinning Wheel. So here she is. I have not, you can see, so there we go. It's about the size of my head, right? Maybe. Oh. And it weighs almost nothing. I think it's like 5 pounds total. It works and spins like a dream. I don't have anything on the bobbin right now because I just last night wound off the new Age Plaid Yarn that I finished. But let me just tell you, it is phenomenal. I would absolutely encourage, if you have any interest in spinning whatsoever, I would highly encourage you to think about the Electric Eel. If you have not spun at all, you can get the little Nano, which is $129. So it's a fairly low price point, and you can dial the speed down to almost nothing, which means that you can focus completely on drafting and not have to worry about keeping up with treadling or keeping up with the drafting. I found when I first learned to spin, that was the hardest thing, was kind of keeping both of the things going. And I had tried to teach myself on a spindle, but I got frustrated because you have to keep getting twist going through the spindle. And so while a lot of people will advocate the spindle as an entry point, I found it more complicated personally because I just wanted to focus on the drafting. So this I think is a great entry level little spinning wheel. The Nano, the bobbins hold 2 ounces, so they're little. This one has an 8-ounce bobbin, and it is $2.99. So for me, as an accomplished spinner, it's perfect. I got myself a little backpack at Hobby Lobby that it will fit into. So I'm actually thinking I'm gonna bring this with me when I go visit my daughter. The bobbins collapse down, so there's 2 of the ends, and I think I put the centerpiece. I got all kinds of pockets in this little backpack. Yeah. So there's your 3rd piece. So you just twist on the ends and build your bobbin and then add it to your wheel. So it's it breaks down nice and compactly, which makes it really great. I also ordered the battery. It comes with an AC adapter, but I did order a battery, which means that I am free to spin anywhere. And I can pop a picture in right here of me sitting on my couch with my feet propped up, spinning away. And it's a dream. It is a dream. I am having so much fun. I also really like, so if I sit back here in my rocking chair, I have a table right here to my left, and I can just sit here and spin like this. And this is actually proving to be a very comfortable position for me to spin in. I think a pain point for me, and I already talked about this, I believe, last week, in my spinning, was that I want to be comfortable at the end of the day because I'm really tired. I don't feel like sitting up in a chair position so that I can treadle and spin and use my big wheel that way. And so I wasn't spinning. That was really what it was amounting to, is because I just didn't feel like sitting in a chair. I wanted to sit comfortably in my recliner or on my couch. And I can 100% do that. Of course, again, with the added bonus that this is small enough, I can actually bring it with me to New York next in a few weeks when I go visit my daughter. And I just might do that. So I am thrilled with my new electric eel. Well, finally, in my day-to-day section, it was actually a relatively quiet week, but I can tell that I'm at the very end of the school year because I have 0 extra energy. I come home and I take a nap. I'm just so tired, emotionally tired. It's been a really long school year. So in my notes, Tuesday and through Thursday, I recorded on Monday last week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were actually pretty quiet. Wednesday, I got home. I think I had a team leaders meeting. I did. I had a team leaders meeting after school, and I got home and I sat down, and it was like 4:15, 4:30, and all of a sudden it was like, woof. And I was so exhausted, and I couldn't drag myself out. I was supposed to go to Bible study that night, and I'm like, I could barely pull myself to the table to eat my dinner. I was just so tired, and so I opted to stay home and kind of recuperated. I don't know if that's the right word. Recharge myself. That's probably a better way to put it. So just really exhausted. But Friday night we had the 8th grade dance. I got a picture here of my friend Katy and I chaperoning the dance. It was the we don't call it a semi-formal, but it is the more fancy dance that we do. It's just for our 8th graders. They were so cute. They were dressed up, a lot of the girls, and really, of course the girls will do this anyway for most of the dances, but couple of the guys had tuxes, a lot of them had suits, and we have in the cafeteria, we have the dancing, and we have our own disco lights that we've put up, and my principal does the DJing and runs the music. And then in the gym, which is adjacent to the cafeteria, we set that up with like lawn games. We had like lawn Jenga, and we had cornhole. They play basketball. So it was really funny to go into the gym and you'd see these boys in suits and tuxes like playing basketball. It was just that juxtaposition of something that was really cute. So that was fun. They did great. It was kind of like a goodbye kind of a thing in a way too. On a Saturday morning, we were kind of busy in the morning, and then in the afternoon we went to my brother's and we celebrated one of my nieces turned 10. So we had a little bit of a birthday time with her. We visited my mother-in-law that night, And then Sunday we got home from church and I'm like, okay, we were busy all day yesterday. I need to not do anything. And that's pretty much what I did, was nothing. I know it's a refrain and it's just the time of the year. It's just, I don't know. I have nothing to compare it to express how exhausting. If you've ever worked in education, you get it. This time of the year, we're just all done, right? And then Tuesday, yesterday, we had step up day. It was kind of like field day-ish activities in the morning. It was kind of rainy, so they had to do everything inside. But then we did step up day. And so we send our 8th graders up to the high school so they get to experience the high school. Our 7th graders go spend time on their new 8th grade teams. And then our 6th grade all come into the building for the very first time. Well, no, that's not true because we had our 6th grade dance a couple of weeks ago. But our 6th grade comes in and they learn what team they're on. And this year we did it in such a way that we had sent name tags. Actually, that's one of the things I did on Mondays. I drove around, spent like 2 hours driving around to all the different elementary schools and dropping off the name tags for Step Up Day. And what we did is the kid had their name and then they had a color. And the color corresponded to one of our teams at the middle school. And so they knew what color they were. They knew who else in their school had that color, but they didn't know what team that was connected to. So we announced that yesterday when they arrived, and then they had an hour and a half to spend with their new team. They got tours of the building. They had time on the team to learn about the team. They had some games that they did. So it was great. And then we sent them off back to their elementary schools. And for a glorious 30 minutes, it was just 7th grade in our building because the 8th grade stayed at the high school and they were dismissed from there. So it was quiet. And then today, the tears. We had some tears about their new assignments, mostly with my current 7th graders coming to me and saying, Mrs. Breton, I can't. I'm like, yeah, you'll be fine. Trust me, you'll be fine. But other than that, it was a pretty quiet day. Actually, I had a couple of tours that I did. Spent some time with some new incoming families, and yeah, here I am. So that pretty much, I think, wraps it up for this week. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I will have links down below in the show notes for everything that I talked about. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knittin Michelle, KNITTINMICHELLE. Please also feel free to send me an email at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful week and happy knitting.